Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa coming to you once again from the sleep study unit at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. Tonight we're in Leviticus chapter 6, and we're going to go through several things here. The first is trespass by deception and false oath. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. When a person sins and commits a trespass against the Lord by deceiving his fellow citizen in regard to something held in trust, or a pledge, or something stolen, or by extorting something from his fellow citizen. So this is all where you have something that belongs to somebody else. They either left it with you, that would be the trust. A pledge is you lent them money and they gave you something to hold that money. And then there's stolen or extorting. And extorting means that you've stolen something by deception. It's theft by manipulation. Or has found something lost and denies it and swears falsely concerning any one of the things that someone might do to sin. So when you have something of somebody else's, you may have it for a legitimate purpose. But if you're deceptive and you try to, it's kept with you in trust, and then you go like, well, I don't have that anymore. When it happens that he sins and he is found guilty, then he must return whatever he had stolen, or whatever he had extorted, or the thing that he had held in trust, or the lost thing that he had found, or anything about which he swears falsely. He must restore it in full and add 1/5 to it. He must give it to its owner when he is found guilty. So this, once again, is I think his name was Zacchaeus, the wee little man. And I forget what he is. He's a tax collector or something, or maybe he's a priest. But he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to give back everything that I stole, and I'm going to give, and he might even give more than 1/5, but this is what he's basing it on. Then he must bring his guilt offering to the Lord, a flawless ram from the flock, convertible into silver shekels for a guilt offering to the priest. So once again, you bring the ram, or you can sell the ram and bring the amount of money that it cost. So the priest will make atonement on his behalf before the Lord, and he will be forgiven for whatever he has done to become guilty. So this is something where you knew what you were doing was wrong, but then you came to your senses and said, okay, yeah, I stole it. Yeah, I found it and acted like I didn't find it. So here's sacrificial instructions for the priest. This is for the burnt offering. And then this kind of goes back. This is written as an ancient text. So it's not like, if this was written today, this would be an instruction manual. This is an instruction manual, but it's written kind of scattershot, where you're going to do a little here and a little here. It's almost like going to a Chinese buffet. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, command Aaron and his sons, this is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering is to remain on the hearth on the altar all night until morning, and the fire of the altar must be kept burning on it. Then the priest must put on his linen robe and must put linen leggings over his bare flesh, so he's got to go commando. And he must take up the fatty ashes of the burnt offering that the fire consumed on the altar. And if you remember, you put all the fat and the entrails and everything. That's what you put on the altar and just blew it up in smoke. Put the fire to it and let it incinerate. and he must place them beside the altar. Then he must take off his clothes and put on other clothes, and he must bring the fatty ashes outside the camp to a ceremonially clean place. So he has to, and he's going to have blood and ashes and stuff on the first set of clothes, so it makes sense that he's going to get changed. But the fire which is on the altar must be kept burning on it. It must not be extinguished. So the priest must kindle wood on it morning by morning, and he must arrange the burnt offering on it, and offer the fat of the peace offering up in smoke on it. A continual fire must be kept burning on the altar. It must not be extinguished. So, and I think what they did when they got out into the wilderness is they would carry a little bit of fire. And that's what people used to do when it was hard to start a fire. Like now, we just use a torch and go. Psh. So here's the grain offering of the common person. This is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron are to present it before the Lord in front of the altar. So this is the ones that we went through in the first couple chapters, and now they told what the person making the offer, atoning for their sins, what they were supposed to do. Now this is what the priests are supposed to do. This is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron are presented before the Lord in front of the altar, and the priest must take up with his hand some of the choice wheat flour of the grain offering, and some of its olive oil, and all of the frankincense that is on the grain offering, and he must offer its memorial portion up in smoke on the altar as a soothing aroma to the Lord. Aaron and his sons are to eat what is left over from it. It must be eaten unleavened in a holy place. So it has to be eaten there on the confines of the tabernacle. They are to eat it in the courtyard of the meeting tent. It must not be baked with yeast. I have given it as their portion from my gifts. It is most holy, like the sin offering and the guilt offering. Every male among the sons of Aaron may eat it. And the sons of Aaron are the priests. One of them, right now, it's Aaron, is the high priest. It is a perpetual allotted portion throughout your generations from the gifts of the Lord. Anyone who touches these gifts must be holy. So you can't even, once you give it to the priests, nobody else can touch it. Now here's the grain offering of the priests. Hopefully I'll be done before they come in and put me to bed. It's only like 18 minutes of 8. But they're like, yeah, we'll be in at 8 o'clock. Get you all hooked up to your wires. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they must present to the Lord on the day when he is anointed. So this is whenever there's a new priest, I forget how old they had to be. It's like 40 years old or something. But when they hit that age, it's like, okay, now you're a full-grown priest. And we're going to anoint you with oil. A tenth of an ephah of choice wheat flour as a continual grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it in the evening. It must be made with olive oil on a griddle. Oh, yeah, they're using a griddle. And you must bring it well soaked. You must present a grain offering of broken pieces as a soothing aroma to the Lord. The high priest who succeeds him from among his sons must do it. It is a perpetual statute. It must be offered up in smoke as a whole offering to the Lord. Every grain offering of a priest must be a whole offering. It must not be eaten. So this one, puff. So here's the sin offering. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. Tell Aaron and his sons, this is the law of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the sin offering must be slaughtered before the Lord. It is most holy. The priest who offers it for sin is to eat it. It must be eaten in a holy place, in the court of the meeting tent. Anyone who touches its meat must be holy. So it has to be a priest, and the priest has to be in the correct clothes, and the priest has to be, can't have defiled himself by touching something unclean, so he's got to be holy. And whoever spatters some of its blood on a garment, you must wash whatever he spatters it on in a holy place. Any clay vessels it is boiled in must be broken, and if it was boiled in a bronze vessel, then that vessel must be rubbed out and rinsed in water. So you're going to clean the bronze, and that's, I think, iron and copper mixed together, I think, is bronze. So it's a metal dish. You can wash them out, but the terracotta, like what you put plants in, potting, pots, plant pots. You can't get the stuff out of there because they're porous, so you just break it and throw it away. Any male among the priests may eat it. It is most holy. But any sin offering from which some of its blood is brought into the meeting tent to make atonement in the sanctuary must not be eaten. It must be burned up in the fire. Okay. Well, next time we're going to be talking about more of these offerings, and then we're going to start to get into how they, the ordination of the priests, the clothing that they wear. We're going to look at them actually starting to worship at this place that they built in the book of Exodus. And then we're going to get into Nadab and Abihu. And then chapter 11, which is the food, the dietary restrictions. And we'll just keep going from there. Peace out.